or their, especially their hands. Like if a man has really small hands, it's like a turn off, even to me. Just because, you know, you grow up hearing all these things that, you know, men with small hands have like a small penis, and you just, you start to believe that, but then it's not scientifically true,
Right.
so it's sad for men.
It is sad. It makes it hard for,
Yeah.
especially again, males hear these same things, and they're kind of like, hey, I wanna, you know, I'm gonna buy bigger shoes and talk to you like this because I don't want you to try to figure out what size I am, right? Undercover, you're looking like, hey, what's going on? Yeah.
I think there's this effect where even though you've learned it to it, it sticks with you for a while until you kind of force yourself to retrain your instinct.
Absolutely. This is what happens with any kind of stereotype, anything that we've been taught. We have to really be just mentally conscious. You have to be conscious of these things in your brain because you're not going to be able to make it go away. But as soon as you encounter, you know, if you're out somewhere and let's say a black male approaches you and is like, hey, you know, I really think you're attractive, your first thought may be, oh, I heard that they're this, 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 and this. May not even be sexually related, but you have to be able to stop yourself and be like, wait, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true for this person. Let me get to know them and see who they are rather than define them by all the stereotypes that exist for their particular racial group, their gender, their, you know, socioeconomic status, et cetera, et cetera. That's one of the most difficult things about human interaction, because we don't always tend to do that. And when we're totally oblivious to any of those thoughts in our head, that just leads to a bunch of conflict and a whole bunch of obliviousness. Yeah.
I actually know a girl who was all into this guy. She was dating a black guy, and she never ever like had sex with him because she was afraid that it was gonna hurt. She was really petite, and she was like, I'm never having sex with him because she felt like it was gonna be painful and stuff. And
Little does she know, right? You could be like, she never found out. So, size, again, not related to sexual satisfaction. Again, we talked about this a little bit, that deep penetration can be painful for some women, okay? Some women do have preferences, right? And a lot of times they're thought to be kind of linked to this idea of, well, you know, males have breast preferences. Is there really a purpose to it? Not really. Could there, you know, still be, is there maybe an increased pleasurable sensation for males to maybe have a female with bigger breasts or smaller breasts? Sure. But is it dependent on it? No. Right? Same thing that occurs for women. So again, even your book kind of talks about this, that there's no research that shows that just being shown perhaps a depiction of a larger penis, it doesn't create any more arousal for women. Again, it may just be linked again to just preferences later on. Like, I prefer this, you know, length or girth or whatever, or I really don't have any preference, it's okay. The same way some men can prefer really, you know, big breasts and some men prefer really small breasts, right? It just depends on the person. All right. So, problems now concerning penis and penis size and just the penis in general. Again, because there's all these messages being sent out there. Genital retraction syndrome. Again, this is psychological, right? No true occurrence of genital retraction. Also referred to as toro, which is actually or thought to be a Malaysian word for tortoise, and it's the idea of, you know, the tortoise or the turtle can pull its head into its shell. This is the fear of, oh my gosh, my penis is never retracted to my body and I'm not going to have it anymore, right? So it's thought to be very kind of culture-bound or culture-specific. So we tend to find it very high in Asian cultures, for example, Malaysian, Indonesian, India, China. We should also put Japan up there as well. And you also find it common in some West African cultures. So countries like Ivory Coast, Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria. What is going on here? In general, or I should say maybe for some of the Asian cultures, there is a thought that for some reason this person has contracted a disease that is causing their penis to shrink or retract. That maybe there's some disease going around and that the final result is death, but before you die, your penis is just going to disappear all the way into your body. And when this rumor kind of goes around, this kind of becomes this general mass hysteria. Everybody gets concerned about it. So mothers may get concerned about their infant boys and try to make sure that their infant boy doesn't lose their penis. and grown males may get concerned about losing their penis. So you find them put things like weights on their penis. They're trying to make sure it doesn't get retracted.
Wait, how big of weights are we talking?
Whatever they feel that it's going to keep it from
Like
being
20, 30
retracted.
pounds?
I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
Clamps. They're going to put some sort of clamp again to kind of keep it on the outside. We don't want it to disappear.
Get a C-clamp.
You may see some of these men
Vice
run to the
grip.
hospital, but they may have either a family member kind of holding on to their penis for them because they just don't want it to retract. Again, hold on. This is based on, again, back to this panic and hysteria. It is really related to anxiety and a delusion, this false belief that this can actually occur. Yes, sir.
This is happening like today. It's not like.
Sure.
What?
Absolutely.
Is it from like miseducation? People aren't educated about.
It's not that there's no education, it's just that there's this fear that tends to kind of then be a mass fear. So there may be some education, and usually what happens is if this rumor goes around and everybody gets concerned, oh my gosh, the disease is back, or I might have caught this disease and I think my penis is shrinking, everybody gets that concern. Usually the hospital will have to send out some kind of message like, this does not exist, you're okay, relax. Because again, anxiety and any kind of delusion can take you to this point, right? If you think about people that have phobias, it's the same idea. Having a phobia to a dog, right, being super afraid of dogs, other people can look and say, what is wrong with you? There's no reason to be afraid of this dog. But this person can have such a severe phobia, they don't watch TV, they can't look at anything that has a dog, they can't go anywhere near a dog, they can't walk on the street and see someone walking their dog. Same idea. Okay, but this is just focused on sexual.
I was gonna say certain versions of this exist, at least in the military. Like, before we would go on deployments, we would often get stories told that we would get if we went out in the morning and we were on leave, we would get the black clap, and over time our penis or our balls would fall off.
Huh.
So like certain versions of these stories, I guess
Exist.
here.
Right. And I would argue that it's tied to this really important, or this high level of importance placed on the penis. And that if you were to lose it, oh my gosh, your life is over. You will no longer be a man, so you better do whatever you can to hold on to that sucker, because if you lose it, it's over. Right? This is the idea about how much importance I'm saying is put on this. And when we talk about the West African cultures, it's not so much maybe this mass panic of a disease, but it's more a mass panic of maybe someone going around and stealing your penis. And it's more kind of linked to this idea of maybe sorcery and
What if it's short?
spells and things like that. And they're just like, oh my gosh, there's a penis snatcher around. So,
Michael Jackson.
That kind of story.
Michael Jackson, there's another word for him. That's just kind of. That's not a penis snatcher. He's just. But one point I wanted to make out here. If you, let's say you do feel like, oh my gosh, I caught this, penis shrinking disease that causes anxiety, but remember, anxiety causes those premasteric muscles to flex, which can actually pull your scrotum closer to your body, which may actually look like it's shrinking, and then you're going to really freak out, right? If there's cold temperature, if you didn't realize maybe I was in cold water, and you're like, it really is shrinking, right? Then you're really going to get scared. All right. Again, many times it can be taken care of with just sort of mass news going around town. Hey, everybody's okay. It's not really happening. Okay, so getting into circumcision here. This is just the process here. If you guys had a newborn son, did you get him circumcised or not? Why or why not? Jessica, you have no.
I would, because the latest research I heard in in the last year or so, is that the developing research on the AIDS that I've heard is that something in some sort of protein in the foreskin is what the HIV virus attacks and latches on to or whatever, what have you, and that's, so that you having an uncircumcised penis increases your risk.
Okay, so for that reason alone, you would say, you get my newborn son.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I was having a boy, I would definitely get him circumcised.